It's astonishing what the human body can achieve with access to groundbreaking research and the latest technology. Researchers at Kessler Foundation's Tim and Caroline Reynolds Center for Spinal Stimulation are harnessing the power of neuromodulation to restore function lost after spinal cord injury. By combining electrical stimulation of the spinal cord with task-specific training, people paralyzed by spinal cord injury are achieving remarkable gains. These achievements hold true even among people with the most severe injuries and those who have been living with spinal cord injury for many years. Losing the ability to walk is just one consequence of spinal cord injury. Loss of arm and hand function is also very debilitating. In addition, people with spinal cord injury often face unstable blood pressure, difficulty breathing and regulating temperature, loss of bladder and bowel control, impaired sexual function, and spasticity, the uncontrollable movement of muscles. These symptoms can dramatically diminish quality of life. Communication among the brain, the spinal cord, and the environment is essential for movement. After a spinal cord injury, this communication is disrupted. The brain does not receive important signals from the environment, like touch, pressure, body position, and weight on the legs when standing. This means that the signal for movement that usually comes from the brain is not only severely limited, but is also missing essential information about the environment. But here's the interesting part. The spinal cord isn't just a passive wiring system between the brain and body. It has its own networks that, with the right information, can control movement. It's more like a second brain that can learn, remember, make decisions, forget, and most importantly, relearn. Even after spinal cord injury, these networks continue to receive signals from the environment, but can't interpret them correctly because of the disrupted signal from the brain. This is where neuromodulation comes in. Electrical stimulation does not amplify signals from the brain, but instead engages spinal networks, the second brain. By sending electrical pulses to strategic parts of the spinal cord, these spinal networks are able to make better decisions, deciphering information from the environment and interpreting disrupted signals from the brain. With stimulation, the spinal networks can function more like they did before the injury, allowing for desired movement. Standing, stepping, and voluntary control of movement are only possible with the right delivery of stimulation, location, intensity, and frequency, combined with task-specific training. These sophisticated spinal networks also help regulate autonomic functions: blood pressure, breathing, bladder, and bowel. For people with spinal cord injury, when stimulation is delivered at sites specific to each function using different frequencies, these autonomic functions can be restored. There are two types of electrical stimulation: transcutaneous and epidural. Transcutaneous stimulation does not require surgery and can be used at many more locations of the spinal cord at the same time. Epidural stimulation is more precise and requires surgery to implant an electrode over the lumbosacral spinal cord below the injury. A neurostimulator and battery are connected to the electrode and placed inside the body. Even more remarkably, both motor and autonomic functions can be targeted and improved at the same time. For example, independent standing can occur while drops in blood pressure are prevented, as usually happens after spinal cord injury. Kessler Foundation supported the development of specialized software, STIMX, to allow the patterns of stimulation needed to recover motor and autonomic function in people with spinal cord injury. STIMX directs the implanted stimulator to engage the spinal networks to be able to simultaneously address many functions. Through STIMX, those with an implanted stimulator have access to as many programs as they need and can control the stimulation with their voice. Transcutaneous stimulation is applied through the skin at strategic locations over the spine. When the stimulation is on and combined with task-specific training, people paralyzed by spinal cord injury are able to improve their posture, move their hands and arms, stand, and some can even walk. Transcutaneous stimulation can also restore cardiovascular function. An exciting finding: many people experience improved function with the stimulator off, and benefits continue at home. These improvements translate to greater independence in self-care and better mobility. With both epidural and transcutaneous stimulation, people experience indirect benefits at home. improved movement, sensation, blood pressure, breathing, temperature regulation, and bowel, bladder, and sexual function. Kessler Foundation's Reynolds Center is among the first in the U.S. to study the effects of both transcutaneous and epidural spinal stimulation, leading global efforts to revolutionize the outlook for people with spinal cord injury. We are proud that this research not only helps people who are paralyzed regain the ability to stand and walk, but also addresses the secondary health issues that impact quality of life. With the support of our donors, we are shifting medical paradigms and challenging the long-standing view that spinal cord injury is an incurable condition. Kessler Foundation, changing the lives of people with disabilities